Hello, welcome to my island. Today I'm going to be giving you a tour of my island. So we're just going to start with going into some of the basics of my island. So we're going to start with my passport. So here's my passport. As you can see, my native fruit is cherries. My native flower is roses. There's my dream address right there if you wanted to visit it. It is now April 1st, so it will also be cherry blossom season, both in the dream and also in this tour. Which is kind of the peak season for my island, just because it looks really nice. And so here is my map as well. So you can kind of see what's going on here. Here are all my villagers. I basically met all of them on Mystery Islands except for Raymond, who was a gift from a friend, and Snake, who was also a gift from a friend. I just like having Raymond to flex, and also he and Marshall are boyfriends. And Snake is one of my favorite jock villagers just because I think he has a really fun gimmick. Tia is my dreamie. She is the most recent one I got. I think it was last November is when I found her. And most of these villagers are actually my favorites. Like Fang is my favorite cranky. Diana is probably my favorite snooty. I've had her on my New Leaf Island, and she's a villager I've had the longest on this island too. And I have really no intention of getting rid of her, so yeah. Oh, and Bonbon is also my favorite peppy villager. As you can see, we also have Red today. It makes literally no difference to this tour. And also, as you can see from my map, I design in a very particular way. Lots of grids, lots of squares and rectangles. This is just kind of how my brain works, and when I started this game I knew that this was the way I was going to design things. I do really envy people who can do a lot of curved lines and fun cliffs and circles and everything like that. That is just not how my brain works. It is just really difficult for me to design around that, so I just kind of knew from the get-go that my island was going to look a little something like this. I also basically sectioned a lot of things off, and there's not a lot of like transition areas that most people, like normal people, have, just because this is the way I design. But I still did my best to make it very aesthetically appealing, and I think I did that pretty well too. I will also admit, at my old workplace, I was able to print out a copy of this map, of course, when what it originally looked like, and planned and drew on it and designed everything from there. So I had an idea for how the topography of my island would look. So yeah, this is also very much a planned island, although of course I did modify a lot of things along the way, so it's not like this is not the idea from the get-go, but it is where a lot of my island started. So yeah, we'll just get right into it, and we'll just hop through this pipe here. So that was at my house, and now we are at the entrance of my island, which is near the airport. I should also mention that I am a really big fan of negative space, so I really believe in being able to interact with the items and the furniture and having a lot of empty space instead of having everything cramped. I will also admit I have a very New Leaf mentality of designing things, just because a lot of the things in New Leaf, like when you would get a letter from HHA that told you that you couldn't interact with a piece of furniture, so that would put your points down. So I just kind of accounted for things like that. Also, like no dropped items, so I really don't have any dropped items on my island. And I also like using items the way they're intentioned. So even if an item looks like something else that seems to be a popular design choice, I won't really do that. I will use items the way they're intended. I'm very basic, but that's just, again, that is just the way my brain works. If I did otherwise, I know it would just bother me. I do have quite a few custom designs, of course, but I also really prefer using the in-game patterns as well, partially because of my basicness, and also because I just really like the different sounds that they make when you run on them, as opposed to the custom designs, which I think are a little more muffled or they don't have it at all. So that is just a kind of explanation for why I just have so many of the in-game patterns down and not a lot of custom designs used as like ground patterns, which I know is also very popular, but just not my thing. But anyway, so yeah, so here is my little entrance. It is also very functional. I am also very much into having functional section, so this is very much an easy to access like my bells, my storage, DIY bench just from the entrance, so I don't have to run back and forth. And of course we have a little like help yourself booth where I just put out free items, these chalk designs on the ground to make it feel a little bit more lived in. And then from my main entrance, we also open up into my main street. And this is just kind of the bridge between all of the other areas of my island. As you can see, I also have a lot of lag in the back. It takes a while for all these items to load. Because yes, even while I have a pretty basic way of designing, I still tried to design as much as I could. I have literally designed every single inch of this island, hence why there is some lag time. So this main street is a connector to all the different areas of my island. So on the left side we have a little bit more of like a community area. There's just a lot more focus on the villagers being able to like interact with the furniture and each other, and also, you know, for me and also for like actual visitors on the island, like actual people. So that's where the left side's all about. That's like where the shopping is, and you know, this farm and everything else. The center part is kind of more of a sightseeing area. As you can see here, we already have this garden with the cherry blossom trees in the back, and it's just very much a place to admire and take pictures. And then on the right side is kind of like more of a cultural area. So it's where all the entertainment, it's where the museum is. We already have this food stall that I'm going to be starting with on my tour. But yeah, this is very much the cultural arts and entertainment center of my island. Kind of like a citier part, I guess. I'm just going to get all this Main Street stuff out of the way. You kind of see what's going on. It's really not a lot to say here. I didn't realize I had moved that other horse, so we just have this one horse here. We have this tiny library. I also have tiny libraries scattered all over my island because I also love books, and the tiny library is a very cute item. And yeah, there is really not a lot to say about this main street here, but it is very cute and I do like it very much. And I like the way it just immediately opens up into this open market. And of course, before it, we also have this hand washing station because you need to wash your hands before you eat food. And then we go up into this market. And so this market, I definitely I wanted it to have like a cramped sort of feeling. The idea that it's like kind of fast paced and there's so many different types of food, you don't know where to look. And that's also the kind of the idea with having all these stalls having such drastically different designs, because it really gives the feeling that there's just so many different types of food to, you know, look at and pick from. And I also did organize them by types of food, even though you can't really see the food very well. And I have that music in the back, so it just kind of gives this place a little bit more life. So we start off with the bakery, and then we have some hot food, and then some vegetarian food, and then some quote-unquote Italian food, and then we also have some food on the side that you can't see very well. And then we have some fish, and then we end off with dessert, of course. And there's a lot of dessert items, so I actually basically have 3 stalls over here for the desserts. We have a little open cooking area here just for the convenience, and because, you know, it's a food area anyway, and that is the food stalls. And then from the food stalls we open up into this little seating hangout area, and this is basically the end of it, and it just gives the feeling that this is where you would sit and eat after, you know, going shopping for some food. Hi Tia. Not right now, I'm sorry. But yeah, so this is just a very relaxing spot. It's also right next to my town square. From here we open up into this little instrumental area. Tia is still following me. I don't know what she wants. That out of the way, thanks Tia. We have this little instrumental area. It's still a little bit of a transitional area. Yeah, I just have a lot of these white instruments and I wanted a place to put them, and I just thought this was a really cute place to have them and have my villagers sometimes interact with them. And then this also opens up into a little orchard right behind it, so this is just kind of more of a natural out of the way area. And this orchard also leads up into this cute little day area. Unfortunately, the waterfalls in this game are very loud, so it's not much of a quiet day area, but it is a little secluded day area anyway. And I also really like this lantern, and I just wanted a place where it could be more of a centerpiece, so I think this is also a really nice place for it to shine. And then we also have over here the museum. Like I said before, I am really not big into museums, but the museum itself is a very big item, so it's not like I wanted this very large building to not have a lot of attention on it, but at the same time I still wanted to put the proper amount of passion I felt into this design, which is not a lot. I don't have a lot of passion about museums. Because of that, I still made this a very large section, but I made it also very generic. So it looks like a very generic park in front of a very generic museum design, but it's also still very aesthetically pleasing, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. So yeah, we have the park, and also I wanted a place to put this fountain. It works really well with this museum. And behind the museum, we also have this little stargazing area, or it's mostly just a lot of Nova lights on the ground, but I'm calling it a stargazing area. So this is just kind of a testament to how Celeste is Blathers' younger sister, so I just kind of wanted her to have a place near Blathers' museum as well. So this is just kind of for her mostly. She also has this little moon chair back here. Yeah, that's just kind of the idea behind this area, also because I love the moon items and I just wanted a nice place to show them off. And we also have these moons on the sides with the waterfalls. They just kind of tie everything together. It also makes this view from the museum look really great, with the 2 waterfalls and then the 2 stairs, and you know, the museum as a centerpiece. And then from here we have this little more run down area. I'm into this boardwalk which has all these paper lanterns which look really good at night. This little gazebo which also paths into this little turtle beach. This is a very small beach that I didn't really know what to do with, so I kind of like looked on Twitter and saw this idea and I thought it was really cute. Just a really nice way to fill up this beach and make it look cute and kind of fit in with what this area is all about. Also because I want a place to put these tortoises and show them off as well. Since I already had them in my museum, they still make for a really great like outdoor item. And then this also has this little glowing moss area. I will admit the glowing moss items are not really my thing. They don't really fit in with my island very much, since my island is kind of centered around development and it's very much more of a jungly vibe, which I do like a lot. It's just not, you know, part of my island. But I also really like this rock fountain thing, so I also wanted a place to put it. So I just managed to use this peninsula to kind of make this that area, the area for the glowing moss, and this also really nice vine chair thing. I also wanted to have this gazebo anyway on this peninsula, and so having this moss one, which I also really like, blended with all this other glowing moss stuff, I think works really well. And then, you know, from here we just have this little lighthouse area, and I'm really content with keeping this the way it is. It's super basic. All it has is a chair, a lamp, and the lighthouse. Yeah, since it's the more secluded part of my island, I'm just happy with it like this. Okay, so back in this little seating area, we go to my town plaza. There's not a lot to say. Everyone's town plaza looks the same. And then from here, we also come up into this area. I will say right now, I have a hate relationship with cliffs. I mean, I really like the fact that you can terraform cliffs, especially because since it's up to me, I was gonna say if it were up to me, but it is up to me, I prefer having cliffs in the back. But because I also know that's my comfort zone, I kind of wanted to try out something different and actually have this whole area be a cliff that is not in the back. Also because having this little really weird piece of land right next to my town hall and then it goes right into my beach is kind of really awkward, and I can't like put anything there that didn't feel like a really awkward transitional area. So having a cliff actually kind of separates it more from the town square. So that's also very convenient. Regardless, I have this whole area being cliff, as you can see in the little mini map in the corner. Right here, we have this little white flower area. I will admit, I only have this little area because I wanted a place to put this little pagoda that I really like, where I wanted it to be the centerpiece and not just like some sort of off piece. So I think this was a really good area for that. It kind of shows it off. All these white hyacinths and the white log sticks also really work well with it. And then from here we have this actual transitional area, which again is all about the function. So we have the storage shed, we have a trash can, and we have this DIY bench. And then we also have this little tiny library. I think this is actually my favorite tiny library design. And yeah, it just kind of works. Another area that works between other larger sections of my island. And then from here we have these two options. We're gonna start with the left side. So as you can see, it is cherry blossom season in my public park, and this place looks really cute in cherry blossom season because we have all these pink roses, this little pink picnic area, and now we are surrounded by all these pink cherry blossoms, and it is so freaking cute here. I didn't have this design here last April, so this is the first time I've seen it. There's also a little south path, but we're gonna get there in just a second. But we're gonna start over here. So now we have my amusement park, and this is a very large amusement park, relatively speaking. I had another amusement park before the 2.0 update, and all I had was all different skins of the Teacup Ride. So now that we have more and proper amusement park items, I only have this one Teacup Ride now, and I put everything else out. I also do have the Ferris wheel out over here. So I opted for the pastel skin because the pastel skin is my favorite. As you might have guessed, I really like the color pink. I wouldn't say it's my favorite, but it is, I mean, it's my second favorite, so pretty close. I'm also really happy with all these amusement park items. I mean, I love an amusement park, so. And this part of the amusement park is a little bit more of a gaming area. We have all the arcade games here. We have the duck game here, and we have this fruit wheel. And it also is where the south part of this park leads into. Here we also have the playground to just kind of complete the idea that this is the entertainment and culture center. So there's so many playground items in this game, so it's like you might as well have a playground on your island. It's kind of actually weird, I'll admit, if you don't have a playground on your island, since there's just so many. So yeah, this one I also kind of centered around all the pastel colors that were in the amusement park. So the pink, the blue, and the yellow. And yeah, so this is just kind of fits in with everything else that's going on this part of my island. Right outside the amusement park, we have this little street thing. And then over here, right below the playground, we have this little street music area where Bubblegum KK is blasting, and it's just kind of a place for my villagers actually to interact with the instruments and play along, and it's very cute. It has happened before, and it's just always really cute to see. And then from here we come down into this little, I don't really know what to call this place, but I actually really like it. This is just, I guess, like a waiting area. I mean, you have like the gacha machine, the candy machine, this little fortune cookie cart, which I feel like everyone should have on their island because it's such a cute item, and all these bikes. This is also where I got the idea to get all these like random chalk drawings from the custom designs portal and just like put them on these little streets to make them feel more lived in and that make the space feel more occupied. And I just kind of went with that, and I also got like the spray can and like the paint and like the drawing set. From here we're gonna do the beach part of this part of my island. So as you can see, again, I did really try to decorate every inch I could. There's not really a lot to say about this little log area. But yeah, so here is the actual main beach part of my island. I kind of went all out, put as much beach things as I could here. So you got all these different towels, you got someone on an iPad, you got this speaker here, and then we also have these beach chairs, along with this one with the umbrella, which I really like. This was another fun 2.0 furniture that I had kind of figured out a nice place to put it. I had a smaller beach before, but now I just have this really big beach. And then these pool chairs, and you can also see here that from the instrumental street it kind of leads into it, but we also have little spots that I tried to fill out too. So there's just like a nice little reading area, you know, another tiny library, and then all these porta potties because you gotta go to the bathroom when you're doing entertainment and culture. From this little, you know, lying out in the sun and getting your tan on, we also have this little tiki bar. Not a lot to say here. This is where you get your drinks. I won't say whether or not they're alcoholic, but they certainly are drinks that you'd get on the beach. From here, we come into this little fruit bar area. I've had this fruit bar area basically since I've started decorating my island. So I am a big fan of fruit. In New Leaf, I actually tried to make a fruit themed house because I genuinely love fruit so much, and then then it was like New Leaf and I kept resetting the game, so whatever. I'm glad the fruit items are back in this game, and I just have this little fruit bar to, you know, get as many out as I could along with all the different skins that I could. This is also an idea I stole from Twitter way back in 2020. I remember the user's name for this custom design is Vaughn's. I'll find it again and put it up on the screen here. So just all these different fruit items along with all these fruit umbrellas and these peach chairs. I guess I could change the skin for one of these, but I don't really think the yellow peach is very cute. So, and then we go a little further north, and now we come into this little movie area, and this just kind of, I think, ties everything together, and that this is very much the entertainment and culture center, because it's just, you know, where everyone can hang out. I mean, actually, I don't think I've seen a single villager on the side of the island before, but whatever, it's the vibe that counts. All right, now that we're back on my main street, we are going to go to the center of my island. So again, the center of my island is very sightsee, and we see that right away when we see this garden. So this garden is like one of the first things you see when you fly over my island for the first time. You actually technically see these street stalls first, which I also really like, because I think seeing the street stalls is a great opener to my island. And then you would technically fly over this garden. I am so happy with this garden, honestly. I didn't think I would be as happy as I am with it, especially since this was originally my orchard, and it was like really big. Like I had so many fruit trees here, and it was also very vertical. So switching it from the orchard to this little garden kind of made it feel like awkward at first, since it wasn't as vertical, but now I just really love it, especially since I made a point to actually have every single hybrid flower that you could possibly get in this game in this little garden, and it looks so great. I didn't want to organize it at all to kind of give it a more colorful feeling instead of like a rainbow one, and I think it works out really great. I wanted a place to put this really nice gazebo in the 2.0 update, especially this skin of it in particular. This makes for a really great centerpiece of this island. And then from this garden we open up into my little Zen garden area. We just open up with this little seating area. There is not a lot to say here, it's just kind of here, but I think it makes for a pretty good transitional area to be able to put out all these like Zen items here, also especially this go board, which I really like. I think it's really cute. And then from here we open up into this little massage parlor, which also opens up into a spa, as you can see up above. And I think this place is where the real centerpiece of my island is. Like the garden I think was like the secondary centerpiece, but we're about to go into the main centerpiece of my island. But for now we'll be in this little massage parlor. I love this plant partition. This actually used to be a shoji screen, but I felt like the plant partition worked better here. You know, and you just got the tatami beds. There's not really a lot to say here. And then we come into this little spa area, sauna, whatever you want to call it. Well, first we have these little bathrooms, because I'm very practical, and I think that after you take a bath in a public place, you should definitely take a shower and wash off all the dirty water that you were just soaking in. From here we come into the real centerpiece of my island. This is just a really nice place to take pictures and also see all the very cool and rare items I have, because we have an entire waterfall full of lily of the valleys. We have actually real beautiful statues, and we also have that moon in the back, and this just makes for a really great sightseeing area. So this is the main viewing point of my island. I think this was also where my island started, so this is like the actual first thing I did, I think even before the fruit bar. But this is where I did all the terraforming for like the waterfalls in this area, and then I just kind of expanded from there. So this is where my island began. Now we're going to go into my little bamboo garden that comes from this massage area. So yeah, not a lot to say about this bamboo garden, but you know, every island needs a bamboo garden, and this is it. I also really love this Zen stone pool thing, but I remember when it was a public works project in New Leaf, and it was the one I wanted the most, and I would literally honestly grind to try to get it. So I am so happy that it's back in this game as like an actual furniture item that you can make as many as you want and put wherever you want. So this bamboo garden is just also a place for me to put two of them out and just have this really cute little rock and bamboo area, because I also love just anything with rock and water. It's just the peak aesthetic, man. From here we have this little nature area. I mean, quite literally it's just the campsite area, but also the vibe here is supposed to be a little bit more wild, because everything else on my island is so organized and, you know, put in a proper place, that this is like the only part of my island where I kind of let everything go a little wild. So there's weeds, which you don't really see weeds anywhere else on my island. You know, there's bushes scattered around, you know, there's even digging spots, which some of them honestly might be mushrooms at this point. I don't know if they despawn after fall, but I've had this area since like fall. And we also have these little gyroids, because I also kind of wanted to do like a gyroid forest thing. So they're just also hanging out, sneaking around, making their little gyroid noises. We also do have a campsite villager here today. I'm not getting them because they're not my favorite. I mean, I'll show you who it is, but I'm not getting them. So yeah, I don't want her. All right. Anyway. But yeah, so this little foresty wild area, I also really like this mushroom parasol, so I also wanted a nice place to put it that wouldn't feel like really out of place. We have this little path to the secret beach where Red is. He's actually here today. I already bought something from him, even though I actually don't need it. I already filled out my art museum. But yeah, so this is just his little beach. All right, now that we're back in the main street for the third time, let us go into the left part of my island, which is where all the community stuff is. And right away we open up into this farm, and in this farm we also have 4 of the 6 vegetables in this game. I do have the other 2 elsewhere. I'll show you where that is. But yeah, so this I just kind of went with a very classic farm vibe. I also add this little grill here. I mean, it's pretty basic. I also have these fruit trees. These 4 are my non-native fruit trees up here, and then down here I do have 4 trees with my native fruit, which is cherries. So south of this farm we have this little tea area. It's a tea and embroidery area. There is really not a lot to say. I just have all these elegant kimono stands, and I just wanted a place to show off all of them because I have all of them. Just kind of combining all these really cute zen-y tea items together makes for this really cute place just south of the farm. Also, it goes right into this little sushi fish market, or it's not really a market, but also kind of isn't not a market. But regardless, you just kind of see what's going on here. So we have these fish stalls, and then we have this little bonfire, and then we have this little, you know, eating area. And this is like a round pillow, I guess is the name of the item, but I think it makes for a really, really cute like seating mat. Honestly, I think it's even cuter than the Zen cushions. And of course we have that carp flag just to, you know, make this place all tied together. And then we're just gonna go up north, and as you can see I have this very practical street that I also have elsewhere on my island, you know, streets. And then from here we come into this little I don't know what to call this area, but I really like it. Actually, this place gave me a lot of difficulty. I actually think I designed it about a week ago, and I didn't really know what to do with it since it was so much space, so I just kind of did a few different things, and I think it works really well together. So first of all, I just really wanted to put this Karopi bridge in the middle, and you know, I did. And I really wanted it to be the centerpiece. And also these Karopi lanterns just surrounding it makes it look, you know, even cuter, along with this fencing. So I kind of started here, and I kind of tried to see what I could do with all these corners. So first we have this little, you know, scooter area for, you know, if you ride your scooter around. And it just kind of gives more of a transitional vibe as well, but it still has a centerpiece. So I think that makes it kind of unique from the other transitional areas on my island. And then of course we just have, you know, your basic bench and clock and water fountain here. And then also on the street we have this little ice cream truck. This is another idea I saw on someone's island, and I thought it was really cute. So I decided to do it myself, as you do. And then we also have just this little other corner just to sit and drink. There's a little coffee cup there, and also there's of course another tiny library. So altogether it just makes for a really nice transitional street area, but it still has this very nice Karopi bridge in the middle. And that also is in front of my little outdoor library. I love this little library. I mean, again, I love books, so it's not a surprise. We have the lesbian flag on all of these couches. Not a lot to say about it, gonna be honest, but it looks great. And then the street immediately leads into my neighborhood. Well, technically immediately leads into this little community area, which is, I guess, a hot tub and 2 pool beds and a grill, but it is the community area nonetheless. And also straight south from it we'll go into the downtown street, but I'm gonna just start with the neighborhood at first. I mean, gonna be honest, there's not a lot to say about the neighborhood. This is where everyone's houses are. And then we also have, again, pink roses everywhere, and also pink mums actually. So this is just my neighborhood. I'm still working on designing everyone's houses. I did Lucky's and I've designed Diana's. I am gonna make everyone have the little heart plate door because I like it a lot. Oh, I also designed Sky's. I forgot I did that. I did Marshall's and I did Raymond's. Actually, I want to show you Raymond since he's home, because Raymond's I did I did something pretty awesome. So I was gonna do another video about my interior designing, but I really need to show off Raymond's. Okay, so yeah, I kind of made him a disco bar dance area, and it's pretty great, if I do say so myself, and you know, some alcohol. I mean, it's not alcohol, but it is alcohol. By Raymond. Alright, now we did that. We're gonna come out into the left part of my neighborhood, and again, this is very much a community area specifically for the residents of this island. So right away we have this little like community street thing. We have basketball because basketball is my favorite sport. We have this DIY bench, and then we just have some laundry that's being done. And then we also have this little community boardwalk. And then here we have all these pinball machines, this tabletop tennis. We got an outdoor kitchen, this jukebox, a lot happening here. We also have this robot hero because I couldn't find another place to put it on my island, and I also wanted to show off that I had it. Beyond that, we have this little shell beach because I also really like the shell items, and I mean, I actually didn't consider myself a shell lamp connoisseur, and then I kind of wanted to do this kind of zigzag path, so that I made a bunch of shell lamps, and now I'm kind of a shell lamp connoisseur. But yeah, so all these shell lamps and then all the shell items just kind of hanging out here. But that leads into my little cherry blossom area. This was originally somewhere on the grass on my island, but then I saw someone have theirs like on the rocks, and I thought it looked way cuter, so I also moved mine to these rocks, especially since I had nothing else to do with this piece of rock. So I think having all these cherry blossom items and this little cherry blossom picnic area just fills out the space more. It makes it look really cute. Alright, and then down from this little community street thing, we come down into this more little beach area, but like a private beach for my residents. So on this side we have these little log beds, just, you know, to tan and hang out. I think this is really cute, especially since the bushes are blue hydrangeas, so when they bloom, then all these blue flowers and everything will look really cute. On this beach we just have this little surf shop over here, and then these are the rest of the surfboards. I know I have just one on the other beach, but these are the rest of the surfboards on this island. There's not really a lot of things to do with the beach, so it's just more classic beach stuff. And then we're going to come south to my little downtown area. Actually, we're gonna go from this staircase because we're gonna start from the right. So here we have, first you see on the right side there is just this little plant stall garden thing with all these topiary. I'm really happy with this. I personally am not really big into plants, but I think the idea of plant shops and everything in this game is super cute, so I still wanted to do it myself. You know, have a place to put all these plants, especially this little greenhouse thing that came with the 2.0 update, which I really like, along with having this topiary and all these bushes. So it's just a very green part of my island, and also the zigzag creek that leads into and out of a waterfall I think is also really great. So it just looks super cute. And then on the left side of the street we also have this little cafe. It's pretty basic. I mean, it's a cafe. Not really a lot to say about this in all honesty. And then we're just gonna come down into my little main street. And then of course we have Able Sisters, and then we have a little bit more like culture things to fill out the place, like this fountain and the trash can and this little sewing box. We also have this changing room here, which honestly I added here way later than I should have because it just makes it way easier to access the clothes I just bought. So then we also have nooks, of course, and with my practical mindset and everything, we also have an ABD and a tool shop, so everything is easily accessible from here. We have these little toy horses, and then right next to nooks we have just this little cute, I guess, transportation stop. And as you can see from the transportation stop, we have this little cafe that we're about to go into. And the thing about this cafe is it's kind of doing two things that I really wanted to do. So I wanted to have a Sanrio cafe because I think themed cafes are very cute. I love Sanrio, even though I don't technically have the Sanrio amiibo cards, and all this is from actually a lot of trading. And I also wanted to do a dog cafe because I also love a good dog cafe. So I combined them. So this is a little Sanrio dog cafe. It looks kind of scattered compared to how I would like it, but also with all these different Sanrio items, there's not really another option for that without, you know, getting rid of stuff, which I don't want to do. So I am content to have this kind of scattered feeling while also filling up all this space. And then from here we again have another beach, and so this is kind of my yacht area or shipyard, whatever. And then over here we have a little boardwalk, and I'm also super happy about this boardwalk, especially since it leads right from the main street into here. And so that also leads to my main boardwalk with Captain here. From here it's just again more culture stuff. We have the brake tapper here, and then we have a bunch of different stalls. So we have like an art stall, and we have a sewing stall, we have a DIY bench, once again for the practicality. We have like a spooky stall, and then that leads into this little dessert bar. And this dessert bar also has another tiny library, as one does, and it's just a very cute place. And yeah, we just have a lot of things that fill up the space and again make it feel like a very much sightsee, touristy area. And we also have just a few things outside nooks to make it feel a little bit more lived in. Alright. And then from here, we're gonna go to my house. And again, this is the other street I was talking about that literally just goes straight down and then straight up. Just a single path, not much else. Literally, again, for practicality's sake, since I just move around my island so much. So right before we get into my house and my garden and everything, we actually have these other farms. So this is the this is the sugarcane farm, which funnily enough, this is surrounded by wheat fields, but whatever. And I think this is just a really cute little farm area, also because I had nothing else to do with the space. So although I will admit this area specifically was actually a farm before the farming update. I actually put yellow hyacinths here to look like corn stalks, but now that we have actual farming items, I removed those yellow hyacinths and I put, you know, the wheat here. And then from here we come into my very large garden. Yeah, I am not breeding flowers anymore, so I have all these patterns in between all of my flowers, so I won't get any new flowers because I don't want them. But, you know, it is a garden and it does look great. So it's just every single type of flower in this game. Not really much else to say. I also have all the gnomes out. There's some here. There's also this little like hybrid area. This is like a private hybrid garden. And anyway, so we have another gnome here in front of my house. We have more gnomes on this side. So it's just a really filled out garden, and it's pretty busy. And also I think part of the reason why my island lags so much is because I basically filled out every spot, so I don't have to worry about more flowers blooming. And also in my garden we just have little things to fill out the space. We also have this little pink flower garden because I mean, I love the pink flowers in this game. We have this little turtle thing from Katrina. We have a dog house for my dog. And we have this little duck pond over here as well. I think these ducks are very cute. And this is another idea I think I saw on Twitter. You know, everyone's islands are just a combination of ideas that they like, just to be honest. And yeah, over here we also have my rock garden. I also have this little Korok in the middle of my rock garden to kind of reference the fact that I actually found all 900 Korok seeds in Breath of the Wild Master Mode, so I just kind of wanted to have a little space to brag about that in Animal Crossing. So we just have a lot of different garden related items here, especially like the rarer ones, which I always like to show off. So we have this like great Atlas moth, we have this bonsai tree. Here I also wanted to have a little bit more fun with cliffs, so I just have all these cliffs with like hyacinth plants on them, and I mean there's also this black garden gnome, and I just filled out all the space with different types of hybrid flowers as well, again to flex all my hybrid flowers. And then down here we also have this purple rose bed thing, and then over here I guess is the last place I'll be covering, but this is just like it's a cute little path, but these are technically the star clocks. I just again don't like having dropped items, so if I did, these would actually be star fragments, but since I don't, they are just star clocks, and they're really cute. And then also of course we have the golden watering can over here. So that is my whole island. I hope you enjoyed this tour. We are back where we began. If you like it. If you want to leave a comment, feel free to leave a comment. And I hope you have a good day.